Well, I'm working on the hinge part for the jig here, and this is where it's sitting so far. So these tubes, everything's still hot from welding. I'm waiting for it to cool down here, and none of it's pretty. And you know, hey, as long as it sticks, I really don't care. So these nuts will go. The ones on either end will loosen and tighten. I tacked these. Okay, so then that way when this assembly goes into the tube, there's no chance of that nut rotating and changing the distance between them and stuff like that. So as you can see, you know, each of the uprights there is welded to the jig here, and I also went ahead and added another support down there because you know, I'd mentioned something about this sagging a little bit and that stuff. So I think we're getting there. I think I've got everything welded where I need to. I've got some heavy tacks up underneath here and stuff like that. So basically what I can do now is I can come in here and I can cut these two off here, and then I can cut that center section of all thread out. Okay, and what that will do is that will allow the all thread to pivot inside these tubes. And yes, the pieces that are on the backside here, when I cut this off, I'll have to cut and grind those off so that that'll allow it to come in. In fact, I'll probably have to come in here and cut out a section here so that allowing the hub to be able to swing this way. So battery's about dead, so that's it for this one. Okay, not quite done here, but wanted to throw, this is just a spare 620 hub here. But I figured, you know, before I come in here and cut this stuff out of here in the bottom, I better make sure that this is going to do what I want it to do, because as it sits right now, I could weld this back together and be back where I started, kind of thing. So there is some flex in these, okay, with the angle iron and that stuff, a little bit of twist, but once they are tightened down against the hub, everything pulls right back nice and flat and stuff like that. There is a little resistance. Most likely it's either because there's some slight twist from the welding, or it's because of the welding on the tube on each side. But you can see that I'll easily be able to pull positive camber rather. So once I cut some of this square tubing out of the way on either side here, I'll be able to get however much negative camber I might possibly want. So it's looking good. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way and then cut the rest of that out. Alright, I cut out some of that metal there and stuff like that, and I haven't cleaned anything up or anything because I just wanted to check and see. So you can see just how much camber that this hinge setup will allow. You know, I mean, just way more than enough. I don't need to cut any more out of here because that's overkill. I don't need, there's no point in taking away any extra metal or anything like that. So that ought to work just fine. So now I'll take the hub back off and do a little clean up, corners and sharp edges and that kind of stuff, because I really don't like getting sliced open on them. I just want to point out one tweak I'm going to do here to the design is I kind of want to pull these this hinge piece out of the way, and as you can see, I can't quite get it out of there. So basically what I'm doing, this end of the tube was turned on the lathe to be square, so it fits up against that nut nice and squarely. This end here, on the other hand, so what I'll do is I'll come in here and cut off probably a good ½ inch, whatever I can, on the back here, and put the nut on, and then cut the rest of the all thread off behind it, and that should give me, because I'm only hanging up on the last ½ an inch there. So and I really only need to do it to one side, because once I take one side out, then I can I'll have room to get the other side out. So just I seriously don't expect anybody to be doing anything similar to this, but if you do that, you know, if you're keeping track of how this is going, then you know, hey, that's where it's sitting. Alright, so far things are looking pretty good with the jig here. I took the digital level and set Alt 0 here, the alternative 0 on here. It was only 0.8 off. Okay, and so then basically we're looking for 90 degrees. Okay, and so that's 89.9. It's pretty darn close. Basically what's going on there is I was able to tighten these nuts down just like I thought. So if you see the clamps here are just simply to keep the spindle from rolling all over the place, flipping around and going upside down. It really doesn't matter if it goes upside down, but so there's nothing holding this. The clamp there is just simply holding the level. I have the nuts tightened up on both sides, holding the hinge assembly. So that is holding the face of that hub at exact 0 degrees of caster, basically 0.1. So I could dial in whatever I wanted. For me right now, that's close enough. I'm going to start putting the arms on and see how far they're off. All right, just wanted to get one last blip in here for the day. I'm done for the day. Time to eat. Go kick back. Anyway, I got the jig done. I think the other videos showed that and that stuff. So here we are. Everything's back together. And I just got done checking it again, and we've got 90 degrees camber. And I've got basically right around 7 degrees of caster. So you can see that's tilting back quite a bit. So there's two ways to adjust that caster to a little bit less. If you're running skinny tires, no big deal, but which I plan on running. The washers, those can be, that'll be a solid block, and then shims could tweak it one way or the other. So that would move the top in or out. The other option here is that I've got the arm all the way forward because of the TC rod. Because of the torsion bar, actually. That could probably get shifted just a little bit, maybe. Most of it's going to have to be done in the top arm. Anyway, 7 degrees, a bit aggressive if you're running real wide tires, but you know, considering the truck only had a 1.5 degree stock, and usually when the upper control arm bushings wore out, you didn't even have that. 7 degrees will probably be pretty welcomed. So let's see here. Got it back together. I gotta get back and do the shock, the sway bar mount again and stuff. But you can see how much bigger that gap is. That gap is easily twice what it was. So it did lengthen the lower arm. I still have yet to put the shock in and see how we're sitting with the shock clearance. The washers are about back to where they were before. There might be one extra. I think there's 9 in there now, and I think maybe there was 7 before. I don't remember exactly. I'll have to go back and look at the other video. So we have our caster camber set. The arm length is set. So now there's still a few other things. Sway bar mount still has to be addressed. That was something I was going to have to readdress anyway. The tension control rod, since this moved out another close to 1/4 inch, that will take this TC rod and move it out just a little bit too. Not really a big issue. Let me see, where did I put the... Let's come over here and take a look at the mount. Okay, so that mount goes in the thing. Basically, this piece will have to come toward me about a 1/4 inch, if that. The angle will change just slightly. Really not much of an issue. What I may do, instead of cutting this and re-welding it, I will just slot the holes for now, and then I'll adjust that in the CAD program when I draw up the rest of the design, because you know, some of this extra metal and stuff like that will all come off too and stuff. Plus too, I've got to do the gussets. This is not the shape that it will be either. That's just a scrap piece I had. So let's see. I think we're doing pretty good for the day. That's it. I may have time tomorrow. We'll see.